I wanted to make a second video regarding MLA, this time to help you with your Works Cited page. So I've made a video on how to set your paper up, but now we're going to kind of move on to the Works Cited page since you need to build one for paper number 4. So I'm going to keep this slideshow in this view. I'm not going to enlarge it so that I can go between the slides more quickly. So what this is a slideshow that was made by the Online Writing Lab at Purdue University. So I'm actually going to have a link to this in the online classroom so that you can view it yourself, and you really do need to review it. MLA is, tricky enough in just formatting your paper. It gets even trickier when it comes to in-text citations and your Works Cited page. So let's go through this really quick. Let's see what you need to do. Just a quick review. This is what your paper should be looking like. You should have your page number, just the last name, a space, and the number. This is what your heading should look like, your name, my name, the course, the date. This is what your title should look like. I'm still seeing a lot of trouble with titles. Titles are easy. They're just plain. So you don't need to bold them, underline them, capitalize them. You don't need to do, well, I'll capitalize them anyway. You just need to capitalize the major words, like see here, A and 2 are not capitalized, but everything else is. This is what your papers need to look like, and I'm not seeing that consistently. So you want to make sure that you get your MLA perfect for the final essay. So please, please, please work on your MLA. I am seeing some improvement, but not everybody's perfect, and I want everybody perfect for the final essay. And if you need to review this information specifically, go back to the other video. So I don't have to not waste, it's not a waste of time, but spend time on that here. So we're going to start with what in-text citations are. In-text citations are exactly what they sound like. They are citations within your text, within your paper, that indicates where a certain quotation or a certain basic idea is from. So you need them when you give a direct quote from a source, or if you are summarizing an idea from a source. So sometimes it's for direct quotations, sometimes it's not. You need to just put them in when you've got an idea that needs to be cited. Again, whether it's word for word or not. So here's how you do this. This is what they look like. Please note right here that the punctuation comes after the parentheses. These are also called parenthetical documentation because the page numbers are in parentheses right there. So the parentheses are part of your sentence because your quote is part of your sentence. So you want to make sure that that punctuation comes after the parentheses to make sure that it's included. Do not put it after feelings, after the last word of your quote. Okay, so all you need is the last name and a page number. If you don't have a page number, then use a last name. If you don't have a last name, use a title. What goes in the citations depends on what information you have in your Works Cited page, and we'll get to that. So, since you guys can be using online sources, so long as they're credible, you may or may not have a last name. You may have to work with a title. If you're not looking at an article or something that has a title, then that should be a really big red flag. Do not just use a website that just has random information thrown on there. That means it's not credible. So I'm trying to let you be flexible and kind of work your way into learning how to research academically by letting you research on the internet. My other classes, I don't do that. I don't like internet research because it can be so tricky in determining credibility. So your in-text citation depends on what your source is. So what this is showing you right here is because Wordsworth, who is a poet, his last name is stated in the sentence, so it's not needed in the citation. So Wordsworth stated that romantic poetry was marked by a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. So here's the direct quote that's being cited. Because his last name's here, it's not needed here. Let's look at the next example. Romantic poetry is characterized by the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. So his last name is not in the sentence anymore. It now needs to be in the citation. Okay? And here's an example of a citation that's not a direct quote. Wordsworth extensively explored the role of emotion in the creative process. So this is giving credit to Wordsworth and showing where he does this based on that citation. Okay, so sometimes it's going to be word for word, sometimes it's just going to be summarized information. But if it's summarized information coming from somewhere else, you still need to cite it. It's plagiarism if you don't. Okay, there you go. Pretty simple. Same thing. Here's the name. Oops. Trying to highlight to make it a little easier for you to see. So since Burke's name is in the sentence, it's not needed here. Since Burke's name is not in the sentence, it's needed here. Okay, just try to get in that habit. We need to see a last name or a title at all times, whether it's in the sentence or in the citation. And here's what the citation would have looked like in the Works Cited page. Okay, so here's his name. And this is why if you don't have a name, you go to the title. So hopefully you better be working with the title at least. And here's how you would do that. We don't know this author. Here's what you would do. Make sure you format it as a title. So this is obviously an article. It's in quotation marks. It has to have that formatting within the citation. And you need to trim down the title as much as you can. So here it says the impact of global warming in North America. But back here, it's just the impact of global warming. You want to shorten it down so it's not taking up a bunch of space in your paper, but you still want your reader to be able to understand that this quote is coming from this source. Okay? Let's move on. I don't think you're going to need much more information when it comes to in-text citation. That's about all you need to know. So here's how you format your quotes. You need to introduce them in some way. They need to fit grammatically into your sentence in some way. Make sure that your citations always come in a sentence break, such as a period, such as a comma or a period. Okay. Let's see here, what else? Okay, so if you say something like concludes or states or says, you need the comma. If you say that, you don't have to do that. And so make sure you have the comma and the capital O, or the capital of the first word. If you have that first word does not need to be capitalized. Okay. How you doing so far? Hopefully, I know I'm probably moving pretty quickly, but you can always review this anytime you need to. Okay, so that's how this is how you stick your quotes in. And if you don't put them in your paper grammatically, I'm going to point that out. So make sure that it's seamless, that your sentence naturally flows into the quote and, comes back out from that quote again. You gotta put it in nicely. Okay, if you want to include words, like to just, help with clarity. So like here, some individuals. Well, what kind of individuals? Well, they're individuals who retell urban legends. You put it in brackets, okay? And if you're going to omit something, I don't want long quotes. If your quote is over four lines long, you need to shorten it down. I don't want long quotes. Your paper's too short for that. So I would say max 2 or 3 lines. Don't even go to 4 lines. You're only writing a 2-page paper. If you have a 4-line quote, you're just letting your source do your work for you. Okay, so if you want to omit words and cut it down to 2 or 3 lines, you add an ellipses. And technically, because it's something you're adding this ellipses to represent omitted words, you would need brackets around it. That's the updated rule that this slideshow does not mention. Okay, so if you're adding something, adding words for clarity, put brackets. If you're taking words out to shorten a quote, add an ellipses, which is the 3 periods, and put brackets around it. All right, so here's what a Works Cited page looks like. There's your title. Again, no formatting, no underline, no quotes, no nothing. Just Works Cited. Make sure that the first line is always aligned on the left, and then every line after that is indented once. Okay, so in general, that's what it's going to look like. Let's go all the way down here. This is how you're going to format your Works Cited page. The editor or the author, I combined both of those. So the editor, author, or compiler. and hopefully you're working with a source that's credible enough to have a person associated with it. Next comes your article title. The name of the site needs to be italicized. It's kind of like saying the name of a book that an article or chapter is coming from, a version number if you have it, name of institution or organization affiliated with the site. Again, you should have one of those if you're working with a credible site. You want the last date that it was updated. The medium of publication is web, W-E-B. And then the last thing you need is date of access. So you're going to have two dates, the date that it was updated, and then the date you accessed it. If you don't have all the information, put in what you do have. Okay? So again, more than likely you're working with the web. If you get lucky and you find a periodical, this slideshow will show you how to do that. So starting on page or slide 29, it goes into detail on what you would need. Say books, there's the periodicals, there's the web again, interviews. Yeah, it's got all sorts of stuff. So please review this slideshow because it'll be posted online. So let me show you really fast how to do this. It's going to be really, really quick. So boom, we go to no spacing. We add in our page number. Space. This is what, Control 2. Make it double space. This is what you should be doing every time. This is how fast it is. Really doesn't take a whole lot of time. Let's see here. See, that's how fast it takes to do your heading. It's really not hard. So just make sure that you get all the details to it. So this is, where it's important to add a page break. Because then as you build your paper, it's not going to mess with your Works Cited page. So here you go. There's your title, skadoosh. So let's say there's the name of the author of the website or article, whichever. You know how much I love chocolate. There's the website, right? Put that italics. Let's see, what else do we need here? This is totally fictitious. I do hope you know that. I'm just showing you how to do it. Okay. Oh, there we go. Good. All right, so let's see here. We'll say that that's the affiliating company. There we go. The date of the last update we'll say was the 1st of November this year. And what do we need? Web, right? Yep, the medium of publication. Web. When was the last time I accessed it? We'll say it was today because you guys want to make sure that that stuff is current. And that's all you need. And then here's a trick because you have to indent this second line right here. Put your cursor there, hit enter once. Okay, so I just hit enter, you didn't see anything, but now I can indent it. If you don't do that, your whole citation is going to indent. You don't want that. Hit enter, tab, boom. Okay, so there's your heading. Your body of your paper, of course, will be here, and that's what your Works Cited page should look like. So hopefully this is helpful. If you have any questions, let me know.